Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands, and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Hey Little Magpie. And for this layout I'm using the Paige Evans Adventurous collection, and I wanted to fussy cut these two papers. Actually I only end up using one in the end, the one with all the scallops. So obviously I've cut them off camera. My papers came from the project pad and I'll come back to that later on. But if you were going to buy them individually, then it is paper 22. I've also got the 6x8 pad there, and I'm looking at adding in some extra scallops that I'm going to make myself. So I've gone through the 6x8 pad, picked out some colours that I could add to make more of a rainbow, and I'm just using one of the scallops as a template. So that way they will be all pretty much the same. So I've cut out some of them are shorter, some of them are only 6 inches, some of them are 8 inches long. Obviously the ones from the paper from the Adventurous collection are 12 inches long. I don't need them to be, but I felt it was easier just to do all the cutting in advance and then figure out the lengths later on. So I have got some leftovers, but they may appear on other layouts. But I just wanted to add some pattern in with the plain ones, if that makes sense. So I'm just looking at adding a vertical column, mainly on the left side there, following the rainbow roughly. I've also used a couple of manufacturer's strips. I saw one of them was orange with some spots on and I really liked it. So it is a bit short, but I know that I'm going to cover that part with my photograph. So I'm not too worried at the moment, and I'm just looking at the placement. I want some of the scallops to overlap. I don't want it to be too rigid in its design. And so I want to see some of the white cardstock in between as well. I haven't designed with a page collection for a while, but this one really caught my eye. I would really recommend you check it out at Hey Little Magpie. In true page tradition, the rainbow colours are stunning. And also I've got quite a few bits of the ephemera that I will be using on other layouts. So I've decided now that I want to use 2 photographs, and I've kept them in colour because they're really quite bright, and I think that actually it works really well with the scallop borders behind. So I'm just tweaking them a bit now, looking at their lengths, looking at mixing up the colours and the patterns a little bit now that the photos are in place. I do want to add some embellishments, and I have lots of bits and pieces in the tray on my left there, but I don't want to cover up the scallops either. So I'm just having a bit of a think. I'm cutting out a sticker with the background intact there, which means it won't go to waste if I decide I don't want to use it on this layout, but I think it will actually make the final cut just above the photograph there on the left. So I mentioned at the beginning that I had the project pad, which is 12 by 12. If you go to IG, I've actually done a reel showing the contents. I saw somebody else had mentioned they've got one, and I felt I needed to have a good look. The papers are single-sided, white on the back. There's a sticker page, and there's an alphabet as well. And at the back, there's even some plain pieces that you can use as like a cardstock base. One of them I've actually used to cut some scallops from. I think it's the green for this layout. So I'm just tweaking the length of some of these scallops now. So I'm just going to try, and I don't want them to all be the same length, and I want to make sure I've got some white cardstock showing. So I'm just slowly working my way up, just trimming them, just making sure they're sticking out either side of the photographs. I decided I don't want to layer the photographs with any other pattern papers, because I think that would also detract from the scallops as they work their way up. I decide on the word happy at this stage, which is one of the chipboard, and it's gold as the title. I do add to that later on, but I don't actually want to add too much more on the top. The photos I particularly like, they were taken at a special big birthday earlier this year, and it's not very often that we get all the family together. So these photographs definitely deserve a layout of their own. They make me smile just looking at them, so they're perfect for this. I'm nearly finished tweaking and moving things around. It feels like I'm being a little bit precise, and I am, because I'm actually going to mark where these go shortly. So I'm just like looking at how they work either side of the photographs. I'm a little bit slow when it comes to sticking things down. I do a lot of thinking, probably too much, but I'm just wanting to be sure. Because the scallops, it did take me a little bit of time to cut those out. Luckily, I did it in front of the TV, so it's not too big a deal. And as long as I've got something on my knee to catch all the bits, I can get away with it. So I'm just doing a final look through, just making sure they're in the right position. Once I was totally happy with the placement, I marked a dot at the start and end of each scallop. I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to add just a tiny little bit of the Nuvo adhesive to the scallop, because I'm actually going to run them through the sewing machine. I'm going to use white thread through all of them, because I actually want to be able to bend them a little bit. So I find that if I've stitched them down, actually you can get a little bit more movement from the paper. So these are them all stitched down, which means now I can literally run my nail underneath and lift them up. Obviously, because some are overlapping, I glued and stitched the individuals first, then I did the overlapping ones on top. So I was backwards and forwards a little bit. The glue dried really quickly and it didn't affect the sewing machine at all. But I like the fact that they now don't look flat and they've got a little bit of depth to them. I'm back to looking at embellishments. The flower cluster on the bottom right is a chipboard one, and I'm just adding a little bit of foam pad to my photographs just to lift them up over the scallops, and I'm going to add that sticker, flowery sticker. So it's mainly pink, like the pinks at the top. I didn't want to be too fussy because there's so many colours in the layout. So I'm just adding a bit of talc under that sticker to make sure it doesn't stick directly to the photograph. Should have done it first really, but I was keen to, now the scallops were down, I was keen to get finished. So I'm just adding some foam to lift those flowers above the photo there. I'll put the chipboard ones down first with a bit of foam as well, and then I'll get the word happy just overlapping a little, so it's quite central with the photographs, but you'll still be able to see all the scallop layers beneath that. Now, if you've not watched these videos at Hey Little Magpie before, there's a number of them, a number of DT doing videos, so do check everybody out. Have a look. You can subscribe to the channel, you can give us a thumbs up. Any questions about the products used or any of the techniques, just add it to the comments and we'll come back to you. That's not a problem. So I'm just adding a bit of foam on the back of this word happy. You can't see how shiny it is actually under the lights of the camera, but it's a lovely gold, nice warm gold. So I'm going to get that into position now. I found the gold word family on the puffy stickers, so I decided I'd add that underneath as well. Take my time because the scallops aren't completely straight, so I just wanted to make sure that the word was straight and it sat nicely, because obviously it's a different font to the word happy. And it feels like I've got fat fingers, I'm trying to stick that down. So do check out Paige Evans Adventurous, made by American Crafts, at Hey Little Magpie. As I say, I got the papers from the project pad because they're white on the back, but this paper is also available double-sided as paper 22. Do check back in with us later in the month. I'll be making a couple more layouts from this collection that will have a completely different vibe. So here's the finished layout. You can see that little bit of depth with sewing those scallops down. Here's some close-ups of it too. So thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate your support. Give us a thumbs up or subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you here very soon. This is Sheena. Bye for now.